Perek Gimel Halacha Aleph, the Rambam begins, Shnei Agrolois, the two lotteries. We'll go down to the Peirush. Perek Beis, we learned that the Kohen Gadol would take out two Agrolois, two lotteries, on the two goats. Echad Kosev Olo L'Hashem. One lottery had L'Hashem, Echad Kosev Olo L'Azozel. The other ones had on it written L'Azozel. V'hem Ksherim Mikol Dovo. It's kosher to be made out of anything. Beimen or eitz, whether it be made out of wood, beimen or even or stone, beimen or materos or metal. Now, lottery means those pieces of wood, stone, or metal. And one would say Lashem, one would say Lazozo. But they had to be the same size. It shouldn't be one big and one small. One silver and one gold, so that you cannot discern with your hand which is which. Because as we'll see, that people used to hope that the right hand would pull, he would put both hands in, and one hand would have one lottery, and the other one would have the other lottery, and therefore it would come up, they wanted it to be on the right hand. It was originally of wood, also Second Beis HaMikdash, they made it of gold. In the Mishnah we find how they did it. There was a box, and it was a vessel that you put the lottery in, and that's kalpi. That's where the voting booth comes from. And you have shnei gorelos. You had two lotteries. They were of special wood, and Ben Gamla made them of gold, and they praised them for it. Ben Gamlo was Yeshua Ben Gamlo. That was a Kohen Gadol in the time of the Beis Sheni. We find in Yuma 18a. When he became Kohen Gadol, he made these lotteries of gold. Now, these throw questions. Why does the Rambam tell us this? Why does he have to tell us that it's of gold? Rambam doesn't usually tell us stories, but it makes it, and he only tells us things that are halachic. Why do we have to know if it was made of eights and then of gold? But it would seem, Tzich Yitzhak wants to explain that in Yerushalmi there's a question, if it got lost, these golden ones, can they make it of wood afterwards or not? And the conclusion is that you have to make it of gold again because of the rule that whatever was elevated to a greater level, you cannot lower it. And therefore the Rambam wants to tell us that when the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt in Yirtzeh Hashem speedily in our days, you can't make it from wood. And even though the Rambam didn't say so specifically, he relied on the fact that in Hilchos Beis HaBchira he writes, the rule is one only goes upwards in elevating sanctity, not down. The second, why does it have to be equal in size? It says in Yuma 37a. But what the Rambam says, that you should make one of silver, one of gold, that's in a Bryce in Teres Kehanim. Here it says one shouldn't be made of gold, one of silver, one of marble, and one of wood. Both have to be the same item, made of the same material. They explain that the Rambam left the halachas of Yerushalmi that the words were inscribed as opposed to written, meaning, and furthermore, that the Hashem was written on two levels, the Lamed below and the Oishei above, as we find also on the tzitz, the forehead covering of the Kohen Gadol. And we would place these two lotteries, b'kli echod, in one vessel which holds a matzik shtei yadayim, which you can put both hands in. So you should put both hands in, and you will not have intent which one is going to which hand. That's why they had to be similar. This vessel was not considered a holy vessel. Who is secular? Shel Eitz Hoya was of wood, the Kalpi Shemoy, his name was Kalpi. It's in that price that we mentioned in 39a. And there it was done so because he shouldn't have intent to take up with his right hand the one that says Lashem. More questions. Why did they make it from wood, not from gold? And more answers to the Torah. Always we find Choso did not want to waste the money of Jews because the vessel is not holy. and therefore you don't use it all the time, and not for any special reason, because we see the lotteries were made of gold afterwards. They didn't want to do it, even though usually anything that was done in the Migdash, there's a rule that there's no poverty in the place of riches. There are things, though, the Torah did not want to waste the money of Jews, and the later commentaries discuss it. When do you have the rule? Which rule precedes which rule? When do you say that poverty is not shown in the place of riches, and when do you say you don't spend money without reason? Siach Yitzchak cites the Yerushalmi. There was no obligation to leave the lotteries in a special vessel, even it could be in a basket. It would also be fine. Why they mention a box? To do it, to show it to the populace in a nice way, make it public. And this is the intent of the Rambam, that he writes, first of all, the main rule that you place the lotteries in a vessel which holds both hands, and any vessel is kosher. And then he adds, but they did it in a box, and his name was Kalpi, so that would be people would recognize that what he was doing was a service of the Yom Kippur.